So this plot point is the ordeal on the hero's journey. That is like the big confrontation, and the reward from that confrontation will aid the protagonist on whatever their final thing is that they have to do. Every song on the record sort of represented a step on the hero's journey, but then also had to, for me as a writer, had to represent something autobiographical so that I could sing it from a real place. So every song kind of has two meanings. The idea of two lives crashing into each other and those things colliding seemed like a good, big thing for me to draw upon. So I knew that musically speaking, it needed a big number at that point. It's sort of like at the end of the second act of most movies, there's usually a big fucking thing, which I think hopefully can take the audience a little bit by surprise as well, because we wouldn't normally have a song like that, and it almost feels like it could be an ending, and it is the end of the second act. What was really important to this song was it had to feel like a climax to the second act and a climax to the album arc up to that point, but it could not feel like the end of the album when you got to the end of the song. I didn't want you to listen to that song and be like, okay, well, let's turn it off now because I assume there's nothing left. It had to be big and larger than life, but still leave some space for the finale track to be bigger than that.
When we added the real instrumentation, the whole song took a pretty significant jump up. And usually that does happen, but I noticed it more in Worlds Collide. I thought it became more three-dimensional.
It's very exciting when I've written everything using various sample libraries and stuff where like it sounds good, but then you put real players on instead and you go, oh my God, like listen to all this like human emotion and expressiveness that can happen that you're just never, you can't possibly get that from a sample library.
It's so rewarding and thrilling to hear like real humans play this stuff after I've just been hearing a computer playing it for months. It's so much it's just so much more exciting.
Working with Hal and Roger these are my favorite producing days. These are my favorite days. And those two guys bring so much to the projects that I have worked with them on over the years.
I've been working with Josh. I've known him since the time he was born, actually. We've done a lot of recording together, and it's a real honor that he invites me back to do some more. So I think we've had two really good sessions here. We did it over 2 days.
What about all those voices in the night?
No, let me hear it again. Let's do it again.
I want to make sure Josh is happy with this before we move on with 98, okay?
You know, there's 25 ways to do a different take on something, even without changing the orchestration. People always ask me, oh, how do you think that sounded? And you know, I got opinions always on every take, but as long as Josh is happy, because it's his vision, and as long as we as the orchestra have realized his vision as best as possible, that's what's most important.
And that's so important when you're doing anything creative, is that everyone feels like your ideas are always safe to say. And I think Hal and I have that mutual trust with each other. So that song has an out of nowhere reprise from Masterpiece Theater 3. The reason I chose to do that was because all the tension building up to it, which is all fresh stuff in the song, needed a big release. It kind of was feeling a little bit like that build up from Masterpiece Theater 3, although the music was totally different, but its function was similar. So I was like, well, fuck, why don't I just lean into it and just actually do it?
It really highlights Josh's writing capabilities, his arrangement capabilities, to have 40 studio musicians in there playing parts that Josh has written. It's a beautiful thing to watch, it's a beautiful thing to listen to.
Conducting Josh's music is just exhilarating. You know, what's happened with Josh now is he's gone through this whole transition to where he's thinking and writing for full orchestra, with band, with drums, with guitars. It's a whole new sound world that he's creating.
Watching the wheels turn in his head as he puts that all together. It's a skill that I'm very proud of him for developing, because that's not easy to do.
Even for us as players, it takes us on a little musical journey. I'm sure it does definitely for the fans. Adds a little points of nostalgia for us and just brings us through the shows that we've played over the years.